Big up, everybody. Welcome into another pump up here on We Are Tottenham TV, hosted by myself, Jacob, from United Spurs of America. I've got Kate and Jim, and we will be joined by another guest just a little bit later on. But first of all, good morning. 6:30 in the morning of El Paso, Texas. A little bit better than 5:30, but I am still tired.
Uh,
So make of that what you will. But Kate, how are you doing this morning?
Well, it's actually this afternoon for us, 25 to 2.
Oh,
I'm not
oh,
tired, but then I
there you
didn't
go.
sit up all night playing FIFA 25. So shame on you, Jacob. Shame on you.
Who did that? Who would have thought to play a video game all evening? Not me. I'm a grown man with responsibilities. Jim, were you staying up late playing FIFA last night, or were you staying up late, foaming
no,
at the mouth for this match?
no, I'm a little bit tired because I didn't sleep till about 12. I was up at 5. So I'm a little bit tired, but I'm all right. I'm getting ready for this game. I'm very up for this one. And just to say
Yeah.
that Chelsea just scored. It's 3-0.
Oh my goodness.
Boo.
I thought West Ham would put up a better fight, but to be honest, I don't really care for either one of those clubs. But look,
No.
big up to everybody in the chat. Good morning from me to you. Good afternoon from Kate and Jim to you. Hope you're all doing well. Look, a lot of people saying this is the biggest game of Ange's tenure. A lot is hinging on today. It's at home. Last time we were at home, 1-0 versus Arsenal. Obviously didn't end the way we were hoping it would win. But Kate, talk to me real quick. Have your expectations as far as a Brentford match at home, has it changed? I mean, last year I believe we took care of business pretty easily. We drew at their ground, first match of the season.
Uh,
They're a solid side, very well managed. But for you, have your expectations changed? Do you think we should still go in there and handle business? How are you feeling?
I'm not, I'd love to come on here and say I'm buzzed and I think we're going to smash them, but I'm not confident in the slightest. There is the silver lining that Wissa, or however you say his name, isn't playing, which is a
Mm-hmm.
massive loss for Brentford and indeed for my fantasy football team. But they're a well drilled, well organised team, and Tottenham look exactly the opposite at the minute. But
okay.
having said that, we have created a lot of chances. We just haven't converted those chances. For me, I really want to see Ange be brave with this game. Whether he will, I don't know, but he will. If he takes a big chance today, a big risk with the lineup, and we lose, I can take that. If he sticks with the same dross and we lose, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Jim, I can see you
Well,
shaking your head.
I mean, when you say stick with the same dross, what do you mean, Kate?
Like Timo Werner, for instance.
All right, there's one
he's
dross.
okay, by the way. Yeah, I know everyone's waiting for the.
Yeah,
But
he's not injured.
yesterday, Ainge said he's okay.
And I'm talking about the likes of sticking
Who?
with. Look, you want to know the truth. For this game, I'd love to see him drop Sonny. I would love to see him drop Sonny and give Mikey more of a go. Sonny has not been playing as he can play, and maybe he's tired. We use him
You know,
Yeah,
so
but
often. I would,
can I just say
I did see this, by the way, in regards to
yeah.
Mikey Moore.
if you're gonna critique Spurs, I know you're my wife, and we should be called Bimbo and Jimbo, right? But if you're going to critique the team, I think you should choose your words a bit better. When you say Dross, we've not got Dross in our team. You make Timo
Yeah, we
Werner.
have
There's no what other Dross is there in our team?
Timo Werner's Dross. What I
Yeah.
mean is, it's not Dross. I don't mean
We'll
individual
use we'll
players
use the
Dross.
right words, Kate, because
No,
that's
no, no,
just
no, 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 no. Let me finish. I don't think that it's individuals that are particularly dross, but the midfield needs to be changed up a bit.
okay.
The front needs to be changed up so we don't see the same play which I'm seeing, which is dross and out of ideas. That's kind of what I
So,
meant.
so in regards to the midfield, what would you like to see? Now, I pulled this picture up of Mikey Moore. He is with the team today at the stadium. He did not play midweek. Will Lancashire did for the U21s. So I'm not expecting any Will Lancashire. I'm expecting a Dominic Solanke. I think the front line. AJ is saying yes, Kate bench Son. As much as I might agree that he's not been great, you cannot bench your captain. You do that, I think you start to lose the locker room slowly, piece by piece. That's just my interpretation of what could happen if we did that. Again, Son playing not to his capabilities. is a very questionable thing because Son has been reluctant to shoot it from distance, and it's interesting because that's his best attribute is finishing. And when he has the ball at his feet, anywhere on the pitch, I think he can score. And maybe that's just my blind faith and belief in Son as a player. So I wouldn't bench him personally. Um, but I do
I
think that
think technically.
the other right winger position is up for grabs.
I think, to be fair, Jacob, you can't ever say you've got blind faith in Son because he proves the haters wrong every single year. But I
Yeah,
just think maybe it's a good time to give him a rest. And look, maybe someone's put dross means worthless rubbish, in which case I retract that and apologise for that use of word. Maybe dross
thank
is
you.
a bit harsh. But I want to see something different. I want to see a brave change like a Mikey Moore on the wing. Because for me, in pre-season, Mikey Moore was a sensation and a revelation. And I want to see if he can do it in the Premier League.
And there's only one way to find out, in my opinion. Can the baby swim? Well, if you don't let the baby get in the pool, you'll never find out, is my
Exactly.
opinion. So go ahead,
The
John.
thing is, Jacob, with Son, right? We've seen Son have a bad game, and then the next game knock it out the park, and we've seen Son have a bad game, put on the bench, then come off the bench and score a hat trick. So it's a very hard.
Yep.
He's a very hard nut to crack because you could play him and he could have a fantastic game today. There's nothing to say he's not, and it might be a mistake benching him. So I mean, let's just hope that Ange does the right decision. But I think it's very hard to bench Son. I do.
It is, especially as he's our captain. But at the same time, everyone needs a rest. Someone's just said he's tired after the internationals. It happened last year. Last
Yeah.
time he was dropped, he came on and scored a hat trick. Everyone needs a break. And I think it confuses the opposition if you suddenly change it. And that's a really brave call from Ange if he does it. And I'll respect him massively, win or lose, if he made a change like that.
So is your belief in Ainge hinging upon a big time decision like that, or is a simple forward line selection? For me, the midfield is almost playing itself. Kulusevski is undroppable at this point. He's been one of our
Yeah.
best players despite all our horrid performances. Coventry's no different. For me, Kulusevski, you cannot drop Kulusevski. He has to play whether it be on the right wing, whether it be in the midfield, and that's just my opinion. Madison, I don't see him getting dropped as much as I would like to see Lucas Bergvall get a go. He did play 70 minutes in the midweek, so I don't expect a change there either. And then, that next position, is it Basuma? Is it Sarr? For me, Papa Matasar has been largely disappointing.
Yeah.
He scored that long
Massively.
distance goal versus Manchester United matched week 2 last year, and since then he keeps shooting it from distance. Why does he come onto the pitch and in 45 seconds has a shot from distance, and Son has been on the pitch the entire time and hasn't had one shot? Son had 2 shots in 180 minutes. That's a recipe for disaster. Son is our best player. I don't care what his form looks like. I don't care what people say about him. I know what he can bring us, and it's just frustrating when he's not the one shooting the ball and really grabbing the steering wheel and just taking a hold of things. So I would like to see that from Son. I'd like to see these players step up. So Kate, I'm a little bit different than you in this regard because if Ainge's tactics continue to provide what they have thus far, which is chance after chance after chance after chance, and these players continually fail to do that, again, I'm going to look at Son. This is his team. He's the captain. He's got to take over the game. I did the same thing to Kane when Kane was our best player. I said it when it's 0-0, 80th minute. That's on you, buddy. You got to go grab the game. And so I hold Son to that same standard because I believe he is as good and he can lead us. It's just so the midfield for me is a big question in regards to Papa Montessar. My hopes for him, Basuma. Someone says the lineup should be out already. Let me check the Twitter page.
No,
They have just dropped. There they are.
it
Let me
is
share
out.
with you.
Oh,
Yeah, they're coming out early this year.
they
Interestingly
have.
enough, Brennan Johnson, the cover boy. So that tells me the front line has Johnson, Solanke, and Son. The midfield
Yeah.
of Madison, Bentancur, and Kulusevski. So no Basuma, Bentancur. And then the back 5 is pretty much what we expected. Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Veen, and Destiny Udogi. The bench reads as Fraser Forster, oh my God, Jed Spence, Dragusin, Archie Gray, Yves Basuma, Pop Matsar, Lucas Bergvall, Mikey Moore is on the bench, and Timo made the bench. So Timo is okay.
I don't think there's many surprises there. I mean, I know Basuma is coming back, but I'd have liked to have seen him, but I did think he'd start on the bench. Look, I don't think I'm sitting here blaming Ange. I'm not, blaming Ange for everything that's going wrong. I think the players get away with murder and need to take some accountability as well. It's no good. Jim made a good point either on the last pump up or the one before, where he said the thing with Ange's system is they need to concentrate for every single second of that match, because it's such a fast-paced game and the tactics are so quick, they can't afford to take their eye off the ball. So the players have to take accountability. Son needs to step up and be a leader and try and get those players over the line, especially in a game like this where so much pressure's on the manager. If he hasn't lost the dressing room, a lot of people are saying he has. If he hasn't, these players need to play their guts out for their manager today, because Ange is getting the brunt of it all. But I don't think it's all on Ange.
He's voluntarily stepped into it, not just because I am a huge Ange defender, and when people attribute things he says and they take things out of context, I'm always quick to rebuttal it. But one of the things is, I absolutely agree, Kate. These players have to show today. I'm not saying it as a must win, but you can't lose.
Yeah,
Jim, when you see this lineup, how are you feeling about it? How are you feeling about this lineup in regards to reflection of Ange? Where are you at with Ange and everything too?
It's the lineup I expected, Jacob. I'm a little bit upset that Lancashire's not on the bench. I'd like to see him.
He played yesterday. He played yesterday.
The under 21.
Oh, he played, did he? Oh,
and Mikey Moore didn't. That's why I was like, we're gonna get some Mikey.
I didn't know that. Well, I mean, even that, I wouldn't have played him yesterday. I would have kept him and not had Werner in there. But what else did you ask? Where I am with Ange?
Yeah. This lineup, how do you see it reflect on Ange?
100% behind him, 1,000,000% behind him. I mean, only people talking about things he's saying in his press conference. Watch the press conference, right, and listen to what he says. People are twisting of what he says,
Mm-hmm. And they take parts of it. They take parts of it and say, this is what he said. It's like, no, the reporter's asking him over and over. So you said that you win things. You said you usually win things. They like to word it a certain way, a little poke little pokes. And they say, oh, well, you said you usually win in your second year. So are you going to win this year? And he's like, I don't usually win. I always win. And then next week they're like, so you said you always win. Are you going to win this year? And he's like, am I supposed to lie? Am I supposed to get up here and say, at all my other jobs I failed? No, he's statistically always won a trophy in his second year. That's all he said. He didn't even bring it up. He wasn't even trying to stand on business. All he said was, I win in my second year. And the reporters like to pick it apart. We've seen it, in my opinion, as an outside perspective, I've seen it from English media my entire life when it comes to football players. David Beckham was the first one I saw. He is the best player in the world from our perspective. And then he's getting dunked on by English media because he had one mistake. It seemed, they're really quick to tear down the things that they built up. And last year they built Ange up all year. So this year, what works best? Car crash TV, take the fucking things out the bottom and watch it fall. And to me, we're falling into the trap that Antonio Conte showed us and we were all aware of that we didn't like, which was you can change the Tottenham, you can change the manager, but the Tottenham will never change unless the Tottenham want to change the Tottenham. And that is what he said. People didn't like it, but he was right. And we're falling into it again with Ange Postecoglou. Off with his head, bring in a new one. I don't care if it's Johnny Johnson. I don't care if it's Jimmy. I just need a new manager. It's like, to me, sometimes you got to stick with things when they're not working. And Brennan Johnson, to me, is a reflection of that. And this is a hill, in my opinion, where Ange will either flourish and look like a genius, or they're going to continually beat him with the Brennan Johnson stick. Now, he did hit the game winner versus Coventry. He does get the start today. It almost seems as if we're rewarding him for that. My opinion is he's more of an impact off of the bench, whether that's for 45 minutes, 25 minutes, 15 minutes. And it's not... I'm not trying to dunk on the young man, but he's got a point to prove, so why not put him out there? I feel like Bentancur also has a point to prove because who knows how long we have him. So to me, it was always going to be the midfield and the attack, in my opinion, that is a major question. But this is the thing that a lot of my Ange feelings. Like, I'm Ange and I support him and I believe in what he's trying to do here until it's not going to work. And it almost didn't versus Coventry. And I was that close to happen to, you know, step off at the next train station, so to speak. But you know what? The train did not get derailed. It may have been delayed, but we're still tooting along, baby. So the way I see it
Jacob,
is this game is not as hinging my support personally as Coventry, because to go out, if we went out to Coventry, that's 2 years in a row, first match in the Carabao, we start Fraser Forster and a Bobo like Timo Werner and we lose. But you know what? We didn't have to. So now I get to say never in doubt. Ainge knew better. He saw the big picture. I was thinking very microscopically, and he was thinking full 90 minutes. So sometimes I like to say, you know what? Ainge does know better than me. Ainge will know these players better than me. And I submit myself to the point that, you know, he's going to pick who he thinks is going to get the job done for him. Now, Brennan Johnson, since he came in, has been a name he's stapled to himself. Timo Werner, on the other hand, is one that fans like to staple onto him. Now, Timo Werner is on the bench. Mikey Moore is on the bench. If Timo Werner is a substitute before Mikey Moore, I'm legitimately going to be disappointed. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be, rah, rah, oh, how dare he. I'm going to be like, how long do we have to beat that drum till we figure out it's just not working? Try, and this is where I agree with Kate. You got to be bold. You got to stand on your own business and say, you know what? Let this kid give him a chance, man. Because if you don't, I don't know. Timo Werner's on the bench. Jim, for you, would you be disappointed like I would if he comes off of the bench before Mikey Moore?
well, look, I'm going to be honest with you, Jacob. I'm behind Ange 150%, 1,000%, whatever you want. But if he plays Werner over Moore today, I've got a question. I've got to question it. I won't be against him, and I won't want him out, but I will have to question that, because Werner the other day, he's just not doing it, is he? Look, he scored over 100 goals in the Bundesliga, right? So he can play football, but he's just not doing it here, and I am a bit bamboozled that they brought him back. But I think that if you're a manager of a team and you've got a player out there that's not doing it, then you don't play him, do you? You know, you watch him in training and try and get his confidence back up, and you put someone else in. So I'll be really disappointed if he puts Werner in over Moore.
I agree with you. Now, I did pull up the opposition lineup here, so we can take a look at that in a second. But Kate, I want to ask you real quick as well in regards to Mikey Moore, Werner. Where do you see if Werner comes off of the bench, which was what has happened in the past? Are you like me, disappointed? Are you questioning Ainge? Are you kind of like Jim? You know, you're like, if he keeps doing it and it doesn't work, then that's an indictment on him. Where are you at with Timo Werner, Mikey Moore situation?
If Timo Werner comes on the bench above Mikey Moore, my opinion of Ange does go down a little bit, because I think every good manager has to learn as you go. And Ange isn't an idiot. You know, people might call him a clown, and which is so disrespectful in my opinion. This guy's been a manager for 20 odd years. So, you know, he's not an idiot. He's won everywhere he's gone. However, if you've got a player who is just not cutting the mustard and you keep putting him in the team or bringing him on, you've got to look at yourself. And fans have every right to look at the manager and go, do you know what? This guy's not learning. The only way, you know, that it, you know, we don't know what goes on in the background, whether sort of Levy's saying to him, look, we've spent a lot of money on this guy, he should be playing. But I would like to think that Ange is his own man and would say, well, no, he's not good enough. But regarding Brennan Johnson, the abuse that he has received recently and the fact he had to close down his Instagram is an absolute disgrace. And I think, as much as I agree, I personally think he's far better as an impact sub. But at the same time, he looked absolutely broken the other day. I mean, he scored the winner and he didn't even celebrate. So I think.
And then at the full time too, did you see what happened at full time? Son was pushing him over there.
Yeah.
Now, I did my expertise body language breakdown over on United Spurs of America. You know, I like to do this when players arrive for the first time after the summer break. When things like this happen, I like to look at players' face, body language. What does it say? What can I read into like a lovely old lady just watching the neighborhood, always watching who's that parking in front of my house. I will call the police. It's the same lines. But look, I think it's an interesting situation with Brennan Johnson, and it is disgusting the amount of abuse he got. But the criticism, as far as his play, has been justified, in my opinion. But it's, again, people take things too far. You can
but
disagree.
I think that's why Ange started him. That's what I was trying to say. I think if he kept him out after scoring the winner, even though I agree. I think he's better off the bench. I think he needs to try and build that confidence back up, and throwing him in again, I think, is the right thing to do.
He earned his start.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he did. He definitely he grabbed it back, and it's disappointing for me because Odegaard is going to be out for some time. It looks pretty substantial what he picked up, and I was really looking forward to seeing him play, because the style of winger that Wilson Odegaard is a lot different than the style of winger of a son of Brennan Johnson. He offered us something different that we just don't have in any of these other wingers, except maybe Mikey Moore. That's my thing. Mikey Moore showed a lot of the same things that Wilson showed me in the limited time that I saw both, respectively. So I would like to see some more of that. But these things sometimes happen. But let's go ahead and look at Brentford's starting lineup here. So they've got Mark Flecken in goal. Nathan Collins and Ethan Pinnock are their center back partnership, which Nathan Collins is a starter, as far as I understand it. Sepp Vandenberg, don't know who the hell that is their right back. And Christopher Eigier, the Danish guy, I believe, for their left back. And their midfield, they have Vitaly Janelt, Yahar Yamaluk, and Mikkel Damsgaard. So little Mikkel and Martin Odegaard baby, little love child, is starting over there. That'll be fun. Now they when I was looking at their lineup and I was doing a little thoughts on my preview yesterday, they had Damsgaard, they had Norsgaard, they had a whole bunch of guards, but only one guard made the starting 11. I thought that was interesting. And in their front line, Fabio Carvalho, he's a fraud. Brian Mbuemo, which he is a beast. I'm concerned, but it says that he's going to be central. I don't know if that's true or not. And then Keane Lewis Potter on the left. So no Kevin Sade. And usually I say, Sade, talk to me nicely. But, no Sade. He is on the bench, I believe. Let me see. They've got Ben Mee, Jaden McHoma, Kim Ji-soo, Eunice Konek, Ryan Trevette, Mads Rorsleff, who the fuck is that? Tony Eugenii, I don't know who that is, and Kevin Schade. So, to me, I look at their bench. Kevin Schade is the only one that I'm like, okay, Ben Mee is a name that I've seen a lot, but outside of that, you got to imagine our bench is stronger than their bench. Now, I'm not trying to be braggadocious or talk down to another club, but like, who are these guys? Who the fuck? Like, I'm looking at these names. Who is that? I don't know. I know some of their starters.
He's a smooth operator, from what I've heard.
Yeah, Kevin Schade is the only one I know because last year he looked all right. He's a nice number 9, but you know what? He can hold bench today. But look, does this lineup bring any fear into you, Jim? Do you know any name that I just read off?
Well, I know Damsgaard.
Mbuemo.
Yeah,
Damsgaard.
Yeah, and Carvalho. But I don't really know their players that well. I said on Kate's stream yesterday that I don't really watch Brentford unless they're playing us or one of the big boys. But look, they're a steady team. I think they're a team that won't get relegated, but they're not going to pull up any trees. So if we're going to be brutally honest, these are the teams at home we should be beating.
I agree, absolutely agree, because to me, going into it weeks ago, I felt that way. Leading up to it, my confidence has wavered based on our most recent performances. 2 losses and then a squeaky bum win versus Coventry doesn't fill me with the most confidence. But again, I look at this lineup and I wonder, like, what even do we have that makes this stronger? Now, there's question marks. Maybe Bergvall, maybe this, maybe that, make it better, tweak it this way. But in regards to our lineup specifically, this is about as strong as a starting 11 as we could put out. Maybe Bentancur for Basuma is a question mark. But I just think he's squeezing as much juice as he can get out of that lemon while he's got it. So I don't really blame that. But Bentancur for me didn't really pull up trees versus Coventry either. No. They just switched their formation, so it looks like 5-3-2. They literally just updated live.
He played a lot better in the commentary game when Kulu come on. Made a big difference to him when Kulu come on. He started playing a lot better.
That's a good point too.
I would absolutely love to see Ange do a 3-5-2, but I don't think that's going to be on the cards anytime soon. But I would just like to see us do it.
You know, this is a great segue, Kate, because you brought up the back line. Now, I didn't. So let's just go ahead and delve down this route because I did save something for this show, especially because, you know, I have some Ainge quotes about different things. And one of the things that I thought would be important to bring up would be Ange Postecoglou's quote on Cristian Romero being at fault for the goal last week at Arsenal, which I criticized him for. Everyone criticized him for. He got dunked on. And then his first excuse, or excuse me, not even his first excuse, his first instinct was to look for the ref to save him. Now, if you can see my room slowly being illuminated by the rising sun, you can see back there, since that goal, I have not taken it down, and it will not go down because I believe in my man, Kuti Kuti Kuti. I believe in the GOAT that is Cristian Romero. But Ainge says on Cristian Romero being at fault, says, quote, and Kate, I need you to listen here very, very intensely. Says, quote, he wasn't and still isn't happy about it. He also knows these things happen in football, and it's about how you respond. I love him as a player and as a person. I love that. And the way that he trains and he conducts himself. He is a winner. I was asked the other day if it's important to have people in the building who've won things, and he is a living embodiment of that. But it doesn't make you bulletproof. You'll have days when it doesn't work for you. He was disappointed he couldn't do more in that space. It wasn't just him, though. It was a combination of things that cost us that goal and a combination of things that cost us that game. But it's not like he's gone into his shell afterwards. He wants to go back out there and make amends. Now, Kate, initial thoughts after the things I've just read about our vice captain, World Cup winner, two-time Copa America winner.
Look, I believe that. I also think he has had his head turned a little bit with the Real Madrid links. I can't help it. I just see a difference in him. But he's a professional and he is a winner, and I'm sure he does want to go back out there, but we need him to be switched on. You know, you need to be switched on the whole way through this game to avoid,
no.
You know, I don't hold him completely to blame for the Gabriel goal. I think Vicario needed to be much, much stronger. I mean, as a goalkeeper, you can literally clatter your defenders. As long as you get the ball, you can do it. And he was weak.
Well, don't tell Fraser Forrester that, because I think he knows about we can clatter into our own defenders. He knows that. He tried to give it.
But I do think Romero's head's been turned. I would have liked my back three. I would love to see Van der Ven, Udogie and Dragusin in a back three with Romero just in front of them. But I don't think that's really the way that Ange is going to play. But we need a big game from Romero. I think Jim predicted Romero to score today. So that's what he needs. Something. He needs a bit of confidence and maybe, you know, I get it.
You know.
These are top players, Romero, Van der Ven particularly. If we don't start winning things, they are going to go. And I don't blame them. I said the same thing about Bale when he left. These are top players.
Well, don't remind me about that, because I literally became a fan. I was watching Clint Dempsey and Gareth Bale. I thought I was like, this is it, baby. This is the dream. Deuce with the best Welsh man I've ever seen in my life. It's disappointing. But, you know, that was yesteryear Spurs. I'm hoping that if we win a trophy this year, I think Romero signs a contract extension. There's been looming talks of his contract negotiations ongoing with Tottenham. And then, you know, hey, I'm just going to throw it out there. On his Instagram, him and his son both wearing Tottenham our away kit this year. So they were both wearing matching kits. His son was kissing the badge. You know, the notion that his head has been turned by Real Madrid. Now, this is something I used to fight when we had Harry Kane, and they used to say the same thing about him, but it became undeniable at a certain point. Right now, I don't think it is undeniable, but it could definitely ask the question, because there's been at least 2 games as a adamant Cuti Romero defender, supporter, and lover. I have always maintained that, like, I want to hold them accountable. Clearly I have a bias, but when you were at fault, like you were versus Arsenal, you could argue was at fault as well for that one of those Newcastle goals. You could argue was at fault for not. I mean, there's a lot of things you could argue if he would have tracked back faster, if he would have done this or done that. And the notion that he switches off, like this is the crux of a defender and then a defender in this system, because you could play immaculate for 89 minutes, but that 1 minute sprinkled in the middle where you get dunked on by Gabriel is the difference between a win and a loss. And he has to hold that, and he knows it. And I like that he said he hasn't shelled up, he hasn't shied away from it, and he accepts responsibility. He's ready to crack on. To me, he's got the right mentality. He's the right player we need in this locker room. And if he did leave at some point to anywhere, that would be a detriment to our locker room, to our, I know people love to do, Van de Veen's a better center back. Van de Veen's a young man. Cristian Romero's a grown man. He's entering his adult. Like, he has a kid. He has another one on the way. He is not a young man anymore that we saw when he first came here. He's a grown man. And grown man going to do grown man things. And if we're not winning and we're acting like a bunch of bozos, I could see why he would not want to be here, just like Harry Kane. And I don't blame them. Mm-hmm. However, I do hold them accountable for situations in which they can control. Kane, down tooling with Nuno, he could have controlled that situation better, and Nuno probably wouldn't have gotten sacked so quick, and then we got Conte, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Romero, same thing. I think he needs to be turned on all 100% of the game, but I haven't lost faith in him as a player. It's the same thing with Ange. Yeah, there was a little bit of doubt creeping in when I see certain things that I don't like, but overall, I believe in them. Now, whether that gets me burnt on the butt, I don't know. But what I do know is Cristian Romero's a damn good player. He's a damn good player, and he loves this club. And if we do right by him, he will be faithful to us. I guarantee it. But if we muck around, we look like we did last year or worse, we got to look better than last year. And I think we got to legitimately challenge for something. Because if we at least get to a semifinal, a final of an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, hey, quarterfinal, semifinal, Europa, talk to me nicely. Romero could see that and be like, we're getting closer. I'm going to stay one more year. Let's see what we could, who knows what, the perception will be a lot different if we get close or if we do win something. But look, Jim, from you, I haven't heard about you from Cristian Romero. Where are you at with him? Do you blame him for the goals? A lot of people blame him for all the goals we scored.
I think Vicario should have come out and punched it. He's a tall guy. You got to think when they come out to punch with their arm, it's much higher than what they can jump. So he should have been more commanding. So, but I mean, and he was held. I mean, when I watched the ref watch, they said it wasn't a penalty, but it was, if it wasn't a foul, but it could have been given. So it was touch and go. But look, I didn't blame him for the goal at Newcastle, Jacob, because he was holding the line. And
he was holding the line, yeah.
Yeah, and Jagusin never stepped back with the line. He stayed forward, and that's where they got the winning goal from. So I didn't really blame him for that. But I didn't blame Jagusin as well, because it was his first full match.
And it was this much. He was literally just trying to not get beat by the second best striker in the league in Alexander Isak. So as much as I'm like, yes, Romero's holding the line, Pedro Porro, Destiny were in line with Romero because they know Romero's tendencies and they know when to hold that line with him. And whereas Jagusin had gotten beat for pace, I think, just 10 minutes prior. So I could see why he was like, just a half step. I just need a half step more and I can cover that ground. And that half step more is what played the guy that he wasn't watching on. So to me, I don't blame Jagusin either, but go ahead, Jim, continue, please.
Yeah, I'm not really disappointed with the way we're playing this season, Jacob. I'm looking at the bigger picture. It's fine margins that we could be sitting on 10 points now. Very fine margins, right? Mm-hmm. I think they've started the season well, and we've just not had that little bit of luck in front of goal. I
don't even think it's luck. I just think 15% effectiveness at what we do, and we would have won versus Newcastle. We would have won versus Arsenal. 35 shots in 180 minutes, and only one goal is scored off a Dan Burn own goal. That tells me the system's not failing. The players are.
Well, I'm not sure about the Arsenal game, but we should have definitely won the Leicester and Newcastle game. I didn't think we looked going forward good at all against Arsenal. I didn't, and I thought that we could have come out of that with a 0-0 draw. And I think
we should have won that.
Well,
they sat back and just let us.
If I'm brutally honest, I couldn't see us scoring in that game. Their defense was too good, and
This is the best defense in the league.
We didn't have the
last
ideas.
year. They were the best defense.
We never had the ideas to break it down, but we could have still been sitting there on 10 points instead of 4 points, right? So, look, at the end of the day, I'm not disappointed with the way the season's gone so far. This is why when I see people screaming Ange out, I can't get my head around it. You know, you've got to look at the whole picture. So, at least let's see where we stand in, 8, 9, 10 games with him. It's not.
This is the thing. We had a great 10 games, and now it was after 3 games, everyone was like, let's get him gone. But look, there's another player that's come under a little bit of scrutiny for his performances. I saw this as well before the show started while I was very up early making some eggs. It says Destiny Udogie I don't know how I'm supposed to say his name, man. I'll be so honest. He was getting plenty of tactical advice from Matt Wells during the initial lap walk on the pitch. Now, Destiny Udogie here is seen getting a lot of instructions. Fans were taking photos of it. Maybe he's going to do something a little differently, or maybe we're trying to correct something he's doing wrong. Kate, where are you at with Destiny? Do you think he's going to change up what he's asking him to do? A lot of people have talked about him invading Madison's space. When you look at the heat maps, it just doesn't correlate, in my opinion. Now, maybe in practice, there's overlap where they're like, oh, he could have given him some room there. But from a heat map perspective, they're not sitting there clogging up each other's way like everyone thinks. Everyone thinks it's some kind of New York toilet. It ain't. He's not clogging up the way. We're just not playing well. But, Kate, where are you at with Destiny, who's actually on the back of this home shirt that I got? Shout out my boy Dog. My dog, Destiny Udogie. That's my dog. But where are you at?
Look, with Udogie, I think he's just looked a bit leggy for me the start of this season. I don't think he's particularly done anything wrong. I just think he doesn't look like he looked last season. So, but, the way that guy is talking to him, it looks like he's telling him to move maybe in a different area. I wouldn't like to guess. Look, I expect Ange
I wish it was video.
Watch his video, did you say? Oh, you wish it was a video?
No,
yeah,
I wish it was a video. Yeah, so
I know, because I'd like to see what he's saying. Look, we all expect Ange to stick to what he's done because that's what everybody sort of bangs him over the head with, that he's stubborn, he sticks to it. But, maybe they are going to try and chop it up a bit. Maybe he's telling him to go more into the middle. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. But I just want to see what we were seeing from Udogie last year. I think this year he looks a little bit off the pace, but he's a good player. He's a good player. We need everyone to start clicking into gear. That's what we need. But I wouldn't even like to attempt to guess what he's telling him to do there.
Do you know what?
Go ahead, Jim.
Sorry, Jacob. Against Coventry, I thought Udogie was the one that was trying to make things happen.
He was the best player in that first half.
Yeah,
everyone was to me with that. Sorry, Jim, I don't want to cut you off, but I agree because in that first 45, it seemed like we were clueless, and everyone just said, "Give the ball to Destiny. Anytime you get it, just give it to Destiny, and he'll know what to do." And to me, that was scary. But what's not scary is Moondog coming in here with a super chat. Big up Moondog. Moondog says, big up Jacob, Kate, and Jimbo. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Moondog and the whole Moondog family. I know there's a little Charlie Moondog running around somewhere. Big up to you. And big up to everyone in the chat. I haven't said it in 43 minutes, but make sure you are liking the video. Make sure you are subscribed to Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Make sure you are, if you want to, subscribe to This American Guy, the #1 American Tottenham Hotspur fan channel. United Spurs of America is in the title of this video. I'll drop the link in again in the chat. But look, Jim,
Jacob,
talk to me more about this.
Yeah, can I just jump in there? Mofo put no chemistry with Udogie and Werner, and he's exactly right. That was for me what was going wrong against Coventry down that side.
The key to the 1-2 is the 1 and the 2. Now Destiny plays the 1, you got to give him the 2. Yeah, you don't do that, the 1-2 is not happening.
That's spot on what Mo said there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that's the first time that Werner started with Destiny. Destiny's been working with Son, and I would imagine going from a group project with, the teacher's pet to the Joker in class that everyone likes because he says Boosgumps. I can imagine that there's a little bit of a fall off in quality there. So I don't really blame him for that lack of chemistry with Timo because it's expected when you throw a bunch of guys in there that haven't really been there. But go ahead, Kate. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I think Rooty Toots hit his spot on there, that Udogie was great at Udinese, storming down the wing and cutting in and shooting, not so much as an inverted wing back. And maybe that's what they're telling him to do.
Oh,
I mean, that was his strength. That's why we bought him. So, you know, who knows? I don't know. I wouldn't like to guess, but it'd be
Well,
great to see
there's
him.
aspects that I see it. So when we invert the fullbacks, they do operate in a forward advanced midfielder role when we're on the ball. And yes, Destiny at Udinese, I did watch him a lot. That was the Italian team I kept up with when we signed him and loaned him back because I was like, oh, who's this guy? Never heard of him. I'm going to watch him. And I even ordered a Udinese shirt that never arrived from DH Gate. And you know what? Just the $20, I just let it go. I let it go. You know, all right, I let it go. But he was very effective hugging that sideline and coming in and cutting, and that's how he scored his goal. I believe it was versus Brentford, his goal, Destiny last year, and it was the same thing. He was working from the outside. Now he does drift off. He doesn't always invert. I've noticed there's times where he's the overlapping runner. It just really depends where Son's position is. That's going to dictate where Destiny drifts. And I don't think that that's necessarily like a bad thing on his end. That's just him doing what he's supposed to do in this system. And clearly, if it was the first 45 versus Coventry when no one knew what they were doing and they're just here, Destiny, figure it out. Clearly, he's the only one who has a grasp at it. He was the only one out there who knew. So he understands. And I don't think it's a matter of like we're taking away the things that he's good at, because on the ball, doing what he did at Udinese, he can still do it in the midfield role. He can still cut in, drive with the ball, shoot, make those runs, and he does. And it was just disappointing. There's a couple of times that he does everything perfect, and then it's the last bit, and that's kind of it's indicative of the entire squad. That last bit, you know, Pablo Matessar does 3 great things and then a horrible thing, and we lose the ball. Destiny working well with whoever's on the left. Great 1-2 play. Now he's sizzling across the box, goes to nobody. So it's things like this that need to be cleaned up. I think just 15 to 20% more effective in the final third, more efficient at what we do in the final. Not even change what we're doing. Just be 15% effective in what we're doing. And I think that, you know, we would still be talking about a whole different Tottenham Hotspur here. We win versus Newcastle, 15% effectiveness. We win versus Arsenal with 15% effectiveness in the final third. And I think it's going to be the story of today. Whether we take those chances or not remains to be seen. But look, we are coming up to the end of the show. So as you know, what I like to do here, you know, it's me. I'm running the show. As much as y'all don't like it, as much as some of you love it, it really don't matter. Shout out Ben and Sim. They asked me to do this. Ha ha. You stuck with me. But I like to do something before we end shows. I like to do something to get everybody in the chat involved. There's almost 600 people here. So first of all, good morning to all 600 people from El Paso, Texas. The sun is shining, baby. The weather is sweet. Makes you want to move your Tottenham feet. And I was gonna say dancing, but I wanted to throw a little Tottenham in there, even though Bob Marley was a Tottenham fan. Lest we forget. I like to do score predictions, and I like to do goal scores. And you know, Jim, I'm gonna save you for last, because you know I like to end off with a little bit of whipped cream on my sundae. And speaking of some whipped cream on the Sunday, Moondog, never Werner on the pitch ever again. I couldn't agree with you more there, Moondog, because we said, please give me Mikey before you give me Timo. Give me freedom or give me death. But Kate, in the last 10 minutes here, talk to me. What are you thinking as far as how the game's going to go? Who's going to score these goals? And please tell me Tottenham's winning. You're usually right with your predictions, so I need you to predict the Tottenham win, please.
To be fair, Jacob, right, I've been saying all week I fancy us to lose 2-1, but I've looked at the Brentford team, and I'm quite surprised that it doesn't feel like they can beat us. So I kind of, after seeing the teams come out, I'm feeling a lot more positive. I don't expect it to be particularly easy, and I don't expect us to keep a clean sheet because, you know, we don't do that very often, although we did against Everton, to be fair. But I have been saying 2-1 loss all week, and I'm going to flip-flop. I think a lot of it is getting on this show with you, Jacob. You always make me believe that we can win every game, the way you talk. So
well, you're married to the man who helps me believe. So look at that. This little circle of life here.
I'm kind of surrounded by positivity. I am going to go. I can't be pushed into the win, but I am going to go for a draw. And I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. And I'm going to go for Solanke and Porro to score our goals. But again, I hope I'm wrong and that we smash them, because I think Ange like you say, we definitely can't lose this game. But I would love to see Solanke score. I think he needs to get the monkey off his back there, and I think Ange desperately needs a win for him. And if the squad, like I say, if he hasn't lost the dressing room, the players need to get a win for that man today. But I'm going for 2-2.
Absolutely.
So
Who's scoring the
Desmond,
goals? Oh, you said Solanke and Poro?
yes.
All right. That's not a bad little shout there. And big up Moondog with he's so nice he had to do it thrice. 3 super chats from the Moondog. Says sort Kate out, Jim.
Right, 100%.
You know what? I'm gonna throw it to you. I'm gonna throw it to you first. I'm gonna save myself for last here, Jim, because Kate's prediction was where I landed after our Coventry game. I said, you know what? I'm not confident in the win. I'm starting to feel like it's going to be a draw. I don't think we can lose. Like we can lose this, obviously, but I feel like what Kate's saying, that X factor is these players obviously hear the noise outside the grounds, which is Johnson, yada yada, Timo, yada yada. Solanke knows is even making it. Like I haven't even heard online fans being that critical of Dominic Solanke. And even Ange is coming out defending him, saying, "I hear what y'all saying, you bunch of bozos." And I support my manager and I support Dominic Solanke, so I like him getting on the goal sheet personally. But Jim, I was a little bit wavered. I feel a little bit differently this morning, but maybe that's just my the endorphins from game day. Game day hits different. There's a different type of. My sweat smells different. Everything's different on game day. But Jimbo, talk to me about your score prediction. How do you see this game going down?
I never waver. I'm behind my club 100%. And it's. I don't think we've had a bad season. I don't for the first 4 games. I think that we've looked decent. Just a few little errors need to be taken out of the game in defence, and the forwards need to concentrate a bit more. A few more shots. Right. It's easy to support a club when they're winning all the time, but when things are a little bit. That's when your club needs you. They need you to get behind them 100%, right? And I'm going to go a 4-0 to the mighty Spurs. We're going to go in 2-0 half time.
I'm going to 4-0 get that place jumping. I'll tell you what.
It's going to be.
It might be what the doctor ordered.
It's going to be a Solanke double in the first half, and in the second half, Sonny's going to score to put it out of their reach. And Romero's going to come in with a smashing header to make it 4-0.
Yeah. Hey, I love that prediction. And you know what? There's something else that I thought about because, every time that I'm going through the motions of game day, I'm like, if this happens, what are they going to say? And by they, I mean the people who are just waiting. They're waiting for anything bad to just pull on the thread. And Kate, sort Jim out.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Moondog now. Sorry,
no, I just saw it too. Big up Moondog with another super chat says, Kate, sort Jim out. I do love that. But, Solanke, I feel like if he does get a brace and we win, even if we win 4-0, they're going to be like, yeah, well, Dominic doesn't do it versus the top teams. It's only versus Brentford. It's only versus yada yada. Until we go and dunk on top 4 teams, they're not going to give anybody respect. But you know what? I think this is a great chance for Dominic Solanke to take a step on the treadmill and begin running in his Tottenham career, because it's really been a moment of like, and then he got hurt, and then it's like, and I want the best for him, because I feel as though it was a good signing at the end of the day. Obviously, with Richarlison being MIA, and Ange's words are pretty indicative of what to expect. I wouldn't be surprised if we never see Richarlison again, based off what Ange said. But well, what do I know? Let me run through some of the chat here. Unless y'all had a point you wanted to say. Jim, you look like you were going to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Jacob, right? Look, we got to put everything, into a bundle and say it as it is, right? Last year was a transition season, right? We was changing a lot of personnel, right? For the on the pitch, off the pitch. So we was going to get some up and down matches. We finished 5th. I mean, which I thought was fantastic, from where Ange took over. And this season's not been too bad. When you look at the games, it's been all right. We're going to lose some matches, Jacob. That's just a fact against some of the big boys. But we've got to give this time over the season. But this is games where we need to step up and win these games. you know.
Hmm.
But then if we
Absolutely.
win this and say we draw against Man United, is that so bad? You know, we got to put everything, you know, in order where we are as a club, and but
That's a good
we
point.
should win this game, right? And we're going to get a few losses along the way until it's all sorted out, you know, and we have to accept that. But this is a day we won't lose.
I love that, Jim. And you got me pumped up. Let's see what the chat's saying as far as their score predictions. I'm going to run through as many as possible. Obviously, 600 people in the chat is more than I get on a live stream at United Spurs of America. So I don't know if I get to everyone, but let's see what y'all are saying. Paul Abraham's got a 2-2 draw. King Hoddle 2-1 Solanke and Kulusevski on the score sheet. Yogi Bear's got a 4-1. Close to you there, Jim. Just can't keep the clean sheet.
Yeah.
Moore coming off the bench and score. If Moore comes off the bench and scores, I'm buying a Mikey Moore jersey. That's just, it's happening. Big up Anvil, 3-0. Poro, Solanke corner, Matters past the Kulu dribble, finds Brennan Son back post. Oh, hey, Anvil, you're talking to me nicely now. Sun Love says we will lose. That's not very positive. Saidansa says 1-1 with an own goal. That's not very great either. Jack Bloom says 2-1 Tottenham Hotspur. Love to see that as well. Let's see who else got their score predictions in. Charles Preston, Solanke 2 goals, Destiny with 1, and Son with 1. That's a 4-0 win for Tottenham. I love to see that. Who else we got here? That's not a score prediction, but it has numbers. There's the link for my channel, and there's the link for Kate's channel. Make sure you are subscribed. Support all Tottenham Hotspur content creators, regardless of if you agree with our opinions or not. We all love the same club, and we're all going to want to show our armpits at the end of this season. Brennan Hattrick says that person. Yanis Rubelis, big up Yanis. My heart is saying more come off the bench, and we go up 2 with a 3-1 victory. And then I woke up. Okay, see, I was enjoying it until you said it was a dream. Solanke 2 goals. Jack Bloom's got 2-1. I already said that, I think. Shane Ellen with a 2-1. A lot of 2-1s. I could see a 2-1, the squeaky bum win. Get Mikey Moore with the game winner. Oh, I'm getting a Mikey Moore jersey. Come on. Sun Love says Tottenham lose 2-1. Okay, very nice. Thuma Paven says Tottenham 5-0. Took it a step further from you, Jim, and I like it. Talking to me very, very nicely. Charles Preston with that 4-0 win, making sure we know. And yes, sir, we do. Any more score predictions? Bobby K. Bobby K did to us what Odegaard did for Arsenal. He went missing, and he's not there, but he was supposed to be here. Big up Bobby K. Says, good morning, Jacob, Kate, and Jim, and everyone in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. Spurs 2-0. Let's go. Come on, Bobby. You got a 2-0 win. I like to see that. Solanke just scored today. Only 103 likes, and there's 600 of you here. That is worse than Tottenham in the final third. Now, if you want us to succeed in the final third, I suggest you hit that like button. It's absolutely free, and it costs nothing to be a good person. So come on now. Let's get it done, baby. I don't see any more score predictions. Nope. Same people. 5 Storm, 2-2. Joe Buck with a 2-1. Lucas Colta with a 3-1 to Spurs. We conceded from a corner. Oh, no. That, you know what, will be our second concession of a corner. Last time we conceded was versus Arsenal, and the last time before that was against Arsenal. So you know what? I think we're okay. As far as the set pieces are concerned, I'm not buying too much into that. Evil Den with the 1-1. Willem Angels got 3-1 to Spurs. Tom Witten with a 4-1 Spurs. 3-1 from Liston, but a Brentford win. I don't like that, but that's okay. It's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. 3-1 to Spurs. Gone football and
that
things.
was 31 to Spurs.
Hey, you know what? I think the most we've ever scored was what, 9 or 7, something like that. 3-1 Poro hat trick. 3-0 from Mr. Benji. Hey, big up Nick, Lazy 8. Come on now. Look, we're here at the end of the show. Big up everyone who got their predictions in, but it just keeps updating. Big up Jordan. I see you 3-1. Tottenham Ranger 13-2. That's kind of crazy, but I don't mind
Jacob,
it. I will
did you
take
give us
13
that?
goals.
Did you give us yours?
No, I was going to do that and then say goodbye. So I'll give you my score prediction. All week I was feeling a 1-1, 2-2 because I wasn't feeling confident about us going forward. But you know what? I got a text on my phone, Kate, and it's from the British government, and you'd be kind of interesting to hear. It says, Dom bomb heading to North London. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Dom bomb incoming. So, I'm saying Dominic Solanke minimum 2. He's gonna open the score sheet. Dom bomb's striking today. He's gonna celebrate in front of the fans, and everyone's gonna lose their shit. And then we're gonna go on and we're gonna keep scoring, and we're gonna keep scoring. And then we'll concede, and then we're gonna keep scoring, and we might concede another. I'm thinking we're gonna win by 2 goals. I feel it. I feel great. I feel like everything is building up. Like Johnson hitting the game winner is a storybook ending for that moment, right? And I think this is now the next chapter, and we are starting it. Are we going to be the same thing? Or are we going to be who we're supposed to be? Are we going to be the men that Ange Postecoglou has set us up to be? Are we going to be the people in life that succeed even when the chips are stacked against us, like for Brennan Johnson, maybe even Timo Werner? Hell, I'll take a Timo Werner game winner. I don't give a fuck. I need a win. That's all I care about.
Dum 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 Solanke. Dum dum dum
Solanke. Come on, I need a Dom Bomb arrival. But anyway, y'all, this has been a great show. I got to get over to my watch along United Spurs of America. Stay right here. The boys are getting started in just a second. And we'll see you on the next one for Kate, Jim, myself, and even the MIA, Bobby K, my northern brethren in Canada. Let's all just give a come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on! Looking for the super chat, Mr. Moni.